Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be doing my May bullet journal theme. Today is April 25th, so it's time to start working on my bullet journal theme for May. And the theme that I have in mind is not something that was requested to me in my TikTok comments or on Instagram, but it's a theme that I've had in mind for a really long time. If you didn't know, I do have a running note on my phone. Anytime I think of a cool bullet journal theme, I write it down there. And if I ever come to a month where there's not something that's like sticking out to me, I usually reference that note in my phone and pick something that I thought of a long time ago and finally execute it. So my theme that I chose for today, I think it might be easier just to get into it and show you because it's a little bit hard to describe. I just was texting my boyfriend and I was trying to explain what it was to him and he was like, I don't visualize what you're talking about. So I am going to show you the Pinterest board that I made to hopefully try and explain this a little bit better. But the overarching theme is going to be mod space age fashion. If you've watched my channel for a while, you probably know that I love retro fashion, especially 60s and 70s era, but this era of fashion is so cool to me because it's so retro futuristic. It has such cool color blocked colors that I think will look really cool in my journal, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun to draw. I have this idea in my mind to do a sort of negative space that plays with the backgrounds and the dresses interacting, but I'll show you that when we actually start doing my journal. So with that being said, let's head on over to my computer so I can kind of show you what I'm talking about. Okay, here we are at my desk. Once again, if the audio changed, it's because I switched from my camera to my phone. Okay, also, my skin looks insane right now. Somebody commented, I can't remember if it was on Instagram, TikTok, somebody asked for me to do a makeup tutorial. I'm not that good at makeup. I don't feel like I have very revolutionary things to add, but if you're interested in seeing that, let me know. My computer huffs and puffs nowadays. I need to get a new computer, so it's gonna be kind of loud in the video. Sorry about that. Anyway, I wanted to show you my Pinterest board that I made for the bullet journal theme. I pinned a lot of just real outfits from this era because I like to look at them and they're cool inspiration. I think this image is going to be the easiest to explain what I mean. So I want to illustrate a bunch of black and white mod dresses like this, but where they intersect with the background, it's going to flip to the other color, so it's kind of like a negative space kind of thing. I don't know exactly how it's going to work out yet. I feel like it's the kind of thing that I need to just draw to figure it out. Like, I can't really visualize it completely in my head, so I think I'm just gonna have to do it and then we'll see. I loved, and I pinned a bunch of really cute mod dresses. Like, I love these ones with the little flowers on them. I love these two. I think this was the initial image that I saw that inspired this. Like, doing these both in black and white would be so cool. I love this one with the discolored pockets. This one is cool. This one is like a skirt and top, but it's cute too. This is another little daisy one. Love these shoes. And my idea is that it would be almost all black and white. And I thought about a way to incorporate color would be to have very slim, thin shadows behind each person, kind of like in this illustration, with like a couple bright colors, maybe like a red or an orange or a green or something like that, just to like highlight their shapes. Or like if I did something like this with the shoes, like those could be a color, but then everything else is black and white. I also thought about maybe incorporating different skin tones, so like each of the people would have a natural skin tone, and then just like their clothes and probably their hair would be in all black and white. I love to do really graphic stuff like this. I feel like it's like the most fun and satisfying things for me to draw, so I think it'll be cool. I also pinned some old advertisements that kind of have the stylistic vibe that I like. Like, these are really cool. They're very dynamic, but they have very simple line art, which I think is cool. These, I just love the poses of these characters. I probably wouldn't be doing anything this like detailed with all of this shading and the hair and stuff, probably not, but I like the way that it looks. These are probably more what I'm going for, like super thin, simple, color blocked color, I guess. And I love the styling of the hair on this one and the eyelashes. I feel like those are really cool. I could also incorporate color as like eyeshadow or lipstick. And then the last things that I have on here are fonts. I was looking for like mod space agey kinds of fonts. This one is very space to me. I don't know how much it's giving mod. So that one, I feel like this is more giving like alien computer screen font, but I really like how it looks, so I think we'll think about that one. This one I think I'm leaning towards the most. This is like very mod, very 60s to me. Maybe it's the colors, but I think it's cool. We have this cool one, which I love the idea of, but it's like way too hard to read. I feel like this is not practical. And this one is cool too. This one feels very 60s Swedish graphic design font to me, if you know what I'm talking about. And I like it for that reason. I also thought of doing, because you guys know that I like to do a little pun as like the header for the divider page, like where it says the name of the month. I like to do a little pun there. For example, in the past I've done Hey June when I did my Beatles theme. In my May era, when I did my Taylor Swift theme. A couple years ago, I did May the Force Be With You for my Star Wars theme for May, which was cute. Anyway, I just love doing puns. So this one I thought I would do, well, I was gonna do mid-mod May, but maybe it'll just say modern May or mod May because it's an alliteration. That's not really a pun, it's just an alliteration. I like to do that especially for May because it's short. It's only 3 letters and I feel like it adds more interest. So now that I've showed you all this, let me stop my screen recording. I am going to go into my journal and actually try and sketch this out. I'm gonna try and do the divider page because I feel like I know what I want it to look like, but I just don't know how I can execute it yet. So I'm gonna go in there and try to do it. I'm just gonna turn the camera off, try and sketch it, and if I do it correctly, I will come back here and show you. See you then. Why, hello. It is much later. I was getting very frustrated while I was working on this. I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do. All the sketches that I was doing weren't looking good. I went into my sketchbook to actually like, I don't know, figure a layout out, and I finally figured out what I like. I'm gonna show you my sketch and I'll try to explain my negative space concept. Okay, here is the sketch of my divider page. I've drawn these 3 girls in 3 mod outfits. This one I might have to change because I don't think it's really going to work with the negative space idea, but we'll see. So these are like these 3 cool mod outfits. I'll do this one as an example. So she's going to have this dress from one of those Pinterest pictures, and like this will be a black and white pattern. But if you can see, I've extended the pattern to go onto the background behind her. So for example, if this stripe in the dress is white, when it extends onto the background, it's going to be black on the background. So there's going to be some cool interplay between the 2 colors. Same thing here, like this line extends all the way down here. This one extends upwards. So where this is going to be white on the dress, it'll be black in the background. And where this is black on the dress, it'll be white in the background. Does that make sense? I hope it does. I'm gonna do some line art now to hopefully make it a little bit more clear, and then we'll start coloring, I guess. So I started working on the line art first, and I used my same pens that I always use, which are the Micron Pigma fine liners. They're like my favorite fine liners. And I just used the same one throughout this entire page because I wasn't sure like if I should go around all of the shapes with the line art, like the fine liner pen, before I filled them in with the paint pen that I used. And I ended up deciding not to, and I feel like that was probably a good choice because I ended up doing the line art for the figures, like for their arms, their faces, and their hair, but I kind of left all of the other spaces without any liner, and then I just used my black paint pen to like fill in those shapes, because I feel like sometimes if you do like black and white, like if you're trying to do a checkerboard or something, if you do line art, it makes the squares really uneven, and they don't like, I don't know, I guess the shape blocks don't like press up against each other the way that they should, because inevitably the black spaces will be larger than the white ones. So I don't even know if that made sense. That's my little tangent about that. Anyway, I went in with the Posca brand paint pens. I used 2 sizes for this. I used like one big chunky one to like fill in the spaces, and then I used a smaller one to like kind of outline the shapes. And I think it turned out really cool. I feel like these graphic designs are always like the ones that I feel most proud of at the end, because I feel like you really are taking a risk, or at least I am when I do this, because it's like so drastic. The shapes are so bold that like if you mess it up, it can look really weird. But I really do think this one turned out cool. I had a lot of fun drawing these little outfits. This one that I'm drawing right here was inspired by that dress that I showed on the Pinterest board that had the mismatched pockets, but I made it into a little 2-piece set because I thought it would be really cool. And then you'll see later that I do go in with some pops of color, and I picked a color for each of the characters so that each of the girls like had their own signature color. And you'll see when I start filling it in that I did choose them based on the Totally Spies girls. The girls from Totally Spies. I did red, green, and like orangey yellow. And they look really cool. It also is giving traffic light in a very good way. I will say that doing the backgrounds for this and for the other pages that I did the same concept on, it was definitely a brain teaser. There were lots of moments where I was very confused. I had to really like think about it before I put my pen to paper. It was not a therapeutic, like mindless thing. I was definitely thinking very hard about it the entire time, so I didn't mess it up, especially because I was using these like super opaque paint pens because I didn't want to mess it up. Because even when you go over like paint pen with white, I feel like it's always like a little bit gross and milky, so I didn't want to have to do that. So I was really focusing really hard on making them correct. And this right here is the part where I realized, oh yeah, I did something good. I made some good decisions when I started filling in the non-black and white colors, like the skin tones and the pops of color. That was when I knew this looks insane. I really feel like the skin tones pop out of the background so much. They look so cool, and they really like lift that off of the page. Here I am going in with the pops of color, as I talked about the Totally Spies color. But when I did the skin tones, that's when I was like, okay, this is so cool. This is exactly what I wanted it to be, and it looks amazing. I'm really proud of it. So yeah, that's the little divider. I finished the divider. I think this is, I can't say it's my favorite. This is one of my actual favorite themes I have ever done. I feel like this is so cool. It's so, I don't want to say it's original because I don't know if I've seen something like this before, and obviously the outfits I have been pulling from other inspiration, but I feel like it looks so cool on the page. The pops of color are everything. Font is so cool. I know you've seen it, but like, this is everything. I'm going to see a movie with my boyfriend tonight, so I have to put the camera down for now, but I am gonna work on the rest of the pages tomorrow. Hi everyone, it is 3 days later. I had a pretty busy like weekend. Today's Sunday, but I had a busy Friday and Saturday, so I didn't work on my journal at all the past couple days. Some things that have happened since I last saw you. I saw the movie Challengers with Zendaya and Mike Feist of Broadway fame. It was very enjoyable. I said on Instagram it was very goofy, but it was very enjoyable. I definitely enjoyed the whole thing. I also worked a lot this weekend. And on Friday night I saw Blue the Tiger in concert, and she was so good. You guys don't know her. She is a singer and she plays bass, and she, like, every single song she did some sort of sick bass solo, and her brother plays drums and he like is drumming for her on the tour, and he's so cool. It was a really great show, and she's on tour right now, so if she's coming near you, I definitely recommend seeing her. That was really fun. What did I do yesterday? I worked and went out to dinner with my boyfriend. Anyway, now we're gonna finally get back to work on my journal. I almost like forgot what I was doing, and then I looked at it this morning and I was like, oh yes, I was cooking is what I was doing. So I think I'm gonna do my calendar and my illustration page right now. So I'm gonna get started working on that. I already think I know what I want to do for the illustration. Calendar, not so much, but we will figure it out. Here I am working on the illustration page. I obviously wanted to do the same thing as the divider page, which was working on the black and white negative space thing. And this one was so difficult for my brain to compute. Just drawing the illustration of the girl, it took me like 5 tries to get it the way that I wanted to, and I don't know, I feel like her body looks a little bit weird, but that was literally the least of my problems when I started actually drawing the background. I saw this cool pattern on Pinterest when I was like researching some like vintage mod fabrics, and I saw this one that was kind of like a checkerboard that also had these circles, and I was like, okay, I feel like that would work perfectly because the image that I saw was already in 2 colors, so I thought it would be really easy to recreate. I used the dot grid of my journal to my advantage by drawing the pattern using the grid, which, like, I think that's the only possible way you're going to be able to execute this. If you want to recreate it, you need to use a dot grid or like graph paper or something, because if you tried to measure this out like with a ruler, straight edge, like that would be impossible. It was so hard for my brain to compute. Anyway, right there, I already messed up for that. I just did that black half circle on like her side, on her torso. I already messed it up. So doing the pieces where the background pattern matches with her dress was so hard. I know I said it was difficult for me to compute on the divider page, but this was even worse. I had to take a break in the middle because I was like, my brain is fried just from thinking about this. And honestly, I feel like this would be really easy to recreate in like Adobe Photoshop or Illustrator or something, but for some reason drawing it by hand was just a lot. It was a lot. But it did turn out really cool. I think this one looks even cooler than the divider page because this is such a detailed and intricate pattern. I mean, I really like how the divider page turned out because it's very simple, and graphic and bold, but these ones, I feel like it's serving that negative space effect that I wanted to even more. Here, I went in with a piece of paper and a glue stick to fix a bunch of the mistakes that I made because I filled in things black that weren't supposed to be black. And like I said earlier, I feel like when you try to put like a white paint pen on top of black, it just like looks muddy or it just looks gray. So to fix that, I ended up just cutting out the shapes that I needed out of just like printer paper and gluing them onto the page to cover up the places where I messed up. And honestly, when you look at it from far away, you can't even tell that's what I did. It covers it up perfectly. But I will say cutting those things out so small and to the right size was nearly impossible. This entire thing was such a tiring thing. Anyway, this one I did on the habit tracker page is easier to draw, I think. So I think if you're going to try and recreate this, this is probably the one you should try to do. I did this like daisy flower dress, and I once again made a grid using the dot grid of my notebook, and on every like fourth dot I drew a daisy, and I just did 4 petals to make it really easy so they'd all be symmetrical. And I feel like the pose of the girl that I drew for this one was also easier because it was less like dynamic of a pose. And this one was super easy. So the background I just filled in the back with black, and then I left the dress white, and like the petals were black on the dress. So this one, it weirdly, I feel like it actually is executed the best, even though it's like the simplest design. When you look at it from far away, it just looks really cool and exactly how I wanted it to. So that was really cool. I guess I'll just chit chat about something else now. I think I just said in the video that I went to see the movie Challengers. If you saw that movie, let me know what you thought. I know I said that it was really goofy, and I stand by that. I was talking about it with my friends the other day. I really liked it. It was definitely fun, but it was definitely weird. There were a lot of interesting choices in that movie that I don't know if I would have made had I been the director, though I was not the director, so maybe I'll keep my mouth shut, but it was weird. Let me know what you thought about it. I did really enjoy it, though, and I especially enjoyed Mike Feist because as a day one Broadway girly, and I just realized nothing that I'm doing is on screen right now in the frame. Anyway, as a day one Broadway girly, I am an OG Mike Feist fan. Dear Evan Hansen days and all. Anyway, that's what I did. I also saw Blue to Tiger. I know I said that in the video. She was amazing. Let me know what concerts you're going to this year. I already have tickets for a lot of things. My boyfriend and I are going to Bonnaroo this year. We're seeing Casey Musgraves. We just got tickets today, the day that I'm recording this voiceover, to see Porter Robinson. My friends and I are going to see the Charlie XCX and Troye Sivan Sweat tour, which will be amazing. I'm so excited. I've seen Charlie XCX before, but I've never seen Troye, so I think that'll be really good. Lots of tickets being purchased. I feel like this is the time of year when I like spend so much money on tickets for concerts and festivals, but it's okay because by the time they come around, it's like free. I think we're also going to go see Pitbull and T-Pain, their tour this summer, which will be amazing. Anyway, I did the same thing for my little moments header here that you'll see. I picked another really cool like graphic mod type pattern with these kind of little hexagon shapes. That's also kind of a checkerboard. I feel like that would be a really cool like kitchen tile. And I drew the same cute little girl with her cute little ponytail and her green headband and sunglasses. That was all. I enjoy doing rambly voiceovers. So let me know what concerts you're seeing and what you thought about Challengers. Okay, bye. Hey guys, it's the next day. I finally finished my journal. I think my camera might have died in the middle of working on my last page, so I'm excited to give you the final reveal of my adorable mod 60s negative space bullet journal theme for May. So of course here is my adorable cover page with my cute pops of color. I love these outfits. Here is how my calendar and illustration page turned out. This looks so cool to me. I feel like this idea of doing the negative space with the outfits works a lot better on super tight patterns like this where there's lots of small intricate little details, because you can still see that shape of her dress, but it really does blend in with the background. There's my cute little header for the calendar page, and here is my moments and my habit tracker page. I think this is my favorite little illustration of the whole thing. I feel like this like grid flower pattern works so well with the concept, and of course I love the orange, and I have the same little girl up here with this cute header as well. If you notice, the three characters, her, and her, they're the same girls from the cover page, and they have their same colors. So I thought that was a cool little way to continue the same character designs. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me while I made this super cool 60s mod bullet journal theme. If you want to see some more from me, definitely follow me over on Instagram and TikTok. I guess while TikTok lasts, if it's gonna die soon, but I post over there a lot more often than I do on YouTube. Also, let me know in the comments if there's any videos that you're interested in seeing. My last video was really fun. I went through and I did a tier ranking of a bunch of Disney Channel TV show outfits based on whether or not I would want to wear them, and it was really fun. It was one of my best performing videos for a while, so definitely check it out. And if you're interested in seeing more videos like that, you can always DM me on Instagram or comment on one of my videos and give me your request. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Bye. Pretty blue jeans and me.